Hello everyone, as you saw in a previous video, I picked up a bunch of Xena on VHS, and I'm going to start doing the unboxings. This video will do seasons 1 and 2, brand new sealed Xena VHS box sets. Complete season 1 on VHS. These are a really big deal for me to find, very exciting, because I remember as a kid having the Xena and Hercules catalog and would order shirts and a few other things, trinkets, action figures, stuff like that for maybe my birthday. But these were always in there, these season box sets, and these were the things that I coveted the most, that I really wanted. As the show was going on before the DVD releases, and they were always too much money. I never got them as a kid. So it's amazing to finally have them and have them all lined up and they're going to look beautiful. Really exciting. And to find them brand new is just something I didn't expect too. So it's extra cool. Starting with tape 1. I love the way these are designed. Not just the matte black box, the beautiful pictures on the side, but even on the top flap, they're all numbered, which is really nice. Some of these box sets don't do that. But we have the premiere of the show, Sins of the Past, and Chariots of War. First 2 episodes. I very distinctly remember the previews for Sins of the Past as that was coming out. Watching Hercules and her character introduced in the first season of that. I watched first the Hercules TV movies and then season 1, and just the commercials all the time explaining Xena and the upcoming show, and seeing all the previews for Sins of the Past. So that was a really big deal for me, and Xena and Hercules in general was such a huge thing. I'll never forget every Friday night, Hercules 8 to 9, Xena 9 to 10. It was such a big thing, so I love having these. Volume 2, Dreamworker and Cradle of Hope. Volume 3, Path Not Taken and The Reckoning. The Titans and Prometheus. The Titans is one that is stuck in my mind forever, because as a kid, as I said with these, we didn't own a whole lot of VHS. We usually couldn't afford. We usually just rented movies, and then we had a handful of blank tapes that I was used to record over and record some of my favorite shows. And The Titans was one of those, just a few episodes of Xena that I had that were on part of a tape, The Titans and the corresponding episode with Hercules, that for years I never taped over. It was just one of those that for some reason I had, and when I was maybe homesick or something from school, I would watch that episode over and over again. So that one is very stuck in my mind forever. Death in Chains and Hooves and Harlots. Which Hooves and Harlots is another one, because anything with the Amazons I just thought was super cool. I had a poster of F&E, all kinds of stuff. So I loved anything with Amazons. Black Wolf and Beware Greeks Bearing Gifts. Man, season 1 was so good. Even though I prefer seasons 2 and 3 to season 1, I think it found its way a little bit more and kicked up the notch and a lot of the quality as it became the main show over Hercules. Season 1 just has so many good episodes that are so great to rewatch. And first season of a show, when it's figuring itself out, tends to be, in most cases, one of the weaker seasons. But for Xena, it just really hit the ground running, and it's one of my favorite first seasons. I have one of my early favorites, Athens City Academy of the Performing Bards. Gabrielle was my favorite character from Xena, so having a good early Gabrielle episode, I like that, and A Fistful of Dinars. That's just so great, really being that fistful of dollars, a very cowboy vibe, and just the way it works, that little group of criminals that they're with. Just a fun episode. I love a lot of the tongue-in-cheek humor. Warrior, Princess, and Mortal Beloved. Warrior Princess is one of the funniest early episodes. I prefer Warrior Princess Tramp, just getting things crazy with Meg, but that's such a iconic early one. In Volume 9, we had The Royal Couple of Thieves and The Prodigal. Both very memorable episodes. Autolycus is one of those crossovers from Hercules and Xena that, for me, actually worked better over the years on Xena. Then Tape 10, Altered States and Ties That Bind. And then we have my all-time favorite Xena Hercules villain, Callisto, the Greater Good, and Callisto. Hudson Leak just did such an incredible job. I love that character so much. So we have the introduction, her character. And we have Death Mask and Is There a Doctor in the House, which has always been a fan favorite. And then in the back, the Gold Collector's Edition Certificate of Authenticity, showing the number of the set. I love that. This certificate as deemed worthy and valid by the gods. Really cool. So that is box set 1. Move on to season 2. And we have the season 2 box set. Very iconic image. I had a poster of that exact same image in my room for years. And this one is a little interesting because here they decide to also individually wrap each volume, every tape. Alright, so the rest I just slit the bottom. I know some people like to actually see the packaging come off as I go along. Season 2, we start at tape 1, Orphan of War, very emotional episode. As we get the introduction of Solon and Remember Nothing. Then Volume 2, we have The Giant Killer and one of my all-time favorite episodes, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, with Bacchus looking all like Tim Curry, legend, devil, and really cool look for Gabrielle. It's that brilliant Halloween episode. I just really love that one. As a kid, that was one of the coolest things. I remember I had one of the Xena calendars every year, and one of them from this season, which year was exactly off the top of my head, but I cut out the year that has that image of Gabrielle and like hung that up. Always been one of my favorites. And then we have, The Return of Callisto and Warrior Princess Tramp. Man, that's a really good volume. Volume 3. Just fantastic. Go ahead and peel this off, unseal it for the first time ever. As they are not just a gorgeous display with the artwork, but I love to watch my VHS tapes. Then Intimate Stranger and 10 Little Warlords. Really like that one. And then the classic Xena Christmas episode, A Solstice Carol, and the Xena Scrolls. Getting into the future, the alternate lives of the spirits of Xena and Gabrielle through the centuries. As their souls always meet up, no matter what reincarnation they're in. And here she comes, Miss Amphibolus and Destiny. This is another one that we had on tape, and I think partially is because my dad thought it was just the funniest episode he had ever seen. For some reason, that one really clicked with him, so he enjoyed that. And we actually have both of these on tape, Destiny as well. We have The Quest and Necessary Evil. One of my favorite storylines in the early seasons of Xena. We have the great Bruce Campbell, who I love. I'm a big Evil Dead fan as well. Does a great job with Xena inhabiting his body. And I really like just any of the Amazon storylines, so that is really cool. And I like Valeska as a villain, and of course you have a bunch with Callisto after her encounter with Hercules. And one of my favorite episodes of that show from season 3. And then we have A Day in the Life and For Him the Bell Tolls. For Him the Bell Tolls is a really good Ted Raimi episode. You get to see a little more variety in his acting abilities. And A Day in the Life has always been one of the fan favorite episodes for a great reason. It's one of those, and Michael Hurst did a great job with A Day in the Life, just so it shows a different angle. I like that element in just about any long running show that I watch. Yeah, you love the big harrowing dramas and the great action, but you really want to get to know the characters and see them in those little slice of life episodes, and it did it in a way that also has some interesting stakes and side characters and just does a great job. Then we have The Execution and Blind Faith. Ulysses and the Price in Volume 10. And then we have Lost Mariner with Tony Todd and A Comedy of Errors. Great appearance by Tony Todd, and then eventually he would do Gilgamesh on Hercules. Just a fantastic season of Xena. And then again, the Certificate of Authenticity for Season 2. Alright, that's it for today, and then we'll get into the other season unboxings, and eventually I'll have to do a whole Xena collection. Outside of Star Trek, Xena and Hercules, when you pair them together, is probably our second biggest media collection, so that'll be one heck of a video.